The session will be recorded, and just for you to be aware. So basically, we are going to be looking at what we have today, and I'm going to be sharing my screen. My name is Noah, and I am your facilitator for this program. And I've been interacting with you on the chats. I've been interacting with you on this chat section on WhatsApp. I just hope that we get to meet one-on-one very, very soon. Okay, so basically, I'm just going to be walking you through some of the things we have. But if you have any question, please don't hesitate to just comment your section or raise up your hands. And if we have enough time, we can take in comments from anyone. So basically, I'm going to be walking you through the slide. This meeting is expected to last for at the maximum of 2 hours, but I don't think we are going to use up to that. But if we do, it's for the benefit of everyone. So I believe that everyone can see my slide. Let me see if I can make it to show present mode. Okay, basically, I'm sure that you guys can see the slide. So getting started with tech diversity. For some of you who had already listened to the previous sessions we had, or that were live in the previous sessions, you are meant to understand what the tech diversity is all about. But if you missed the previous session and you're still curious as to what is tech diversity and what does it have to do with students, okay, so tech diversity is just an avenue where we teach you technology skills. So we are rolling out, or we rolled out just one technology skills, which is web development. That's what we'll be teaching you guys in this period of 6 months. So basically, if you've been interested or you've been seeing people doing cool things on the web and you're interested and you can't just wait to get yourself doing those kind of things, then this program is actually for you. So we selected 2 universities, and the first university is Bayero University of Kano and Bowen University, Iwo. The reason why you see just 2 universities. So in subsequent year, we're going to be having more university on board, but from our partners conversation, we decided to just go with the 2 universities. So I'm actually excited that you guys are the pioneers of this program. So like I said, if you have any comment, any question, please drop it in the comment section. So basically, looking at what we have on our agenda, the first thing we will have to do is to basically understand the tools that are required for you to be proficient in this tool. We know that they are very crucial, and we're going to be looking at them one after the other. Going through again, we're going to be looking at how you can be successful, because the thing is, programming can be interesting, at the same time can be intimidating or can be tiring, right? And some of those things are things we're going to be looking at as we go forward. So we're going to look at how you can be successful, things that you can do that will basically make you to be successful. We're going to be looking at all of that. Then we're going to introduce you again to our LMS. LMS is basically learning management system. So where you're going to be learning from, we're going to look at that as well. Then at this segment, let me see if I can. I'm just trying to see exactly. I'm trying to look for a picker so that you can see where my mouse is hovering at every point. So we're going to be looking at how you will be graded. Of course, don't expect that you would earn or at the end get an employment or get a certification just like that. So when you learn, you get to do some projects, because what makes technology skills different from the conventional university or the university that you are right now is that we are meant to train you to be job ready. Okay, so and when it comes to how the job interface or how job force or workforce work in real life, it's not by your vocal, it's not about how you can talk, it's not how intelligent you are, it's all about what people can see, most especially in the technology world. So it's not like you having in your resume that, oh, I can code in Python, I can code in HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Nah, it goes beyond that. You're going, at some point, you're going to be receiving some tests, some trial, and once you can scale through this process, you won't even get to see the interviewer, not to even talk about being employed, right? So the tech world is full of practicality. So we're going to show you how you'll be graded. We're going to be grading every steps, and every step determines your next level, which is very, very crucial. So it's not, this is not to scare you, but this is just to make you understand that you have to take this very serious if you really want to be among. Then finally, we're going to be looking at so interview, we have a session for interview, and I'm going to be explaining what interview means as we move forward. Okay, so now starting with the first two, Gmail. Most of us are already used to this platform, right? But one thing we notice about students is that you guys don't pay attention to your emails. See, the truth is that so you have to get used to the way things work in the outside world even before you graduate. Yeah, you can say that, oh, I am busy with my project, this, blah, 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 blah. The truth is, if any organization wants to contact you today or giving you any offer, it's through email. I would even say that you engage more with your email than engaging with any social media platform, right? So try as much as you can to read your emails. Check your primary emails, check your promotion for those who use Gmail. Most emails goes to promotion because they come from either a bulk email platform. So Google sometimes sends those emails as promotion. So sometimes check your promotion, check your primary emails. In fact, form an habit of checking your emails at least once a day. Somebody like me, I check my email almost every, let's say every hour or something like that. Yeah, you just have to find a way to check, maybe for one business or the other. And this is exactly you'll be doing in the real world. So why not just even start now and get used to it on time? That's just about it about email. So check your email as often as possible. Yeah, another aspect is WhatsApp. Yeah, WhatsApp, our WhatsApp group is created for instant communication. If we have quick information we want to share with you, because we realize that not everybody read their emails. Not everybody have internet to read email or have devices to read email. But for whatever reason, the WhatsApp is actually to communicate instructions to you almost immediately. Now, one thing to understand about the WhatsApp group is it is not for arguments. It is not for any political conversation. Is not. We just have to understand that the WhatsApp was created for a purpose, and the purpose is for you and I to learn technology skills. So if there are conversations that need to happen, it needs to be strictly based on that, because whoever violates this rule can actually be removed from the platform. Although before you're removed, we'll actually communicate with you and let you know, at least give you some sort of warning. And if that persists, you'll be forced out of the group. The reason is we almost an average person has like nothing less than 10 WhatsApp group already. So making these a spam or something buggy can be really redundant. So we'll try as much as we can to make the conversation as light as possible. So if you have any tips on how somebody can learn, or you just finished learning a particular aspect of technology tips that you think people in that group might need, you can share it. There's no crime with you sharing information that is in line with the subject. One thing we'll frown at is forwarding messages. The group is not created for news outlets, so no need to forward any message to the group. So, but if you have a resource or resources that is going to be beneficial to other students, you can share, but just make sure that is in line with the subject. And that's just all about that. I'm going to be sharing a guideline with you guys going forward as the rules of engagement, in case you have any further question. That might contain, the document might contain your curiosity. Okay, so moving forward, another platform we are going to be using is called Slack. Now, some of you might be used to what Slack is, some might not. Slack is an interaction platform as well. It allows team collaboration. You can share code. Just imagine if I want to share source code with you guys on WhatsApp, it's going to look very messy. You won't even understand how it looks. But let me walk you guys through what the Slack channel is going to look like. Let me see if I can locate my channel. Okay, yeah. All right, so navigating to Slack. So this is what we are going to be inviting you to join this channel. Slack is something that you're going to come across. If you've not, you're still going to come across it, because when you start working with team, this is basically the tool that you come across. Another alternative tool to Slack is called Discourse. Discourse as well is used for collaboration, most especially between product managers, products team, and the likes. So you can see one of our students just wrote a code and was curious as to whether the code is correct. And after I posted the code, somebody gets a review. Let me even see if I had a comment on it. You can see sharing a screenshot of the issues he had, and getting response, direct response, and help to fix it. So these are some of the things you're going to be coming. You can see him trying to do something and getting rapid response. This can be very difficult on any other platform that is not built to access code like this. You can see that the code color is even formatted, making it very easy to read. And whoever is helping you to solve your problem will not have to be struggling in order to see or help you. I mean, it's not just that. So you can even chat with someone personally. Take, for instance, right now, I need to chat with, let me see. You can see I had some personal chat with some students asking me to help, taking screenshots of their issues, and attacking the issues just one after the other. So this can become very, very handy. And how can I use Slack? So take, for instance, once you receive the link and you're added, you would see this kind of interface as well. You can see review my project. So you can just come to this channel and just type in something. So you can see that in this test section, there are several things you can add. You can start typing if you want, and you can add code. So you can see if you select this code, it means that whatever you want to type is code related. So let's assume that I'm just going to copy a snippet from one of my projects. Let me see. Let me just copy a section. I'm just coming. Yeah. So I just copied like a very short line of code so that I can send. Let's assume I had issue with that portion. You can see that now there's a challenge. So I can just align all of them and just paste it as code. You can see that it's aligned it as code, and it makes a lot of sense. Compare it with just the plain text. It's going to be very difficult to read. But imagine if I just I light it as code. It's going to be very, very easy to read. I can attach images, I can format. In fact, you can even add, I just pasted this. Whoever is on the team can get to see. In fact, you can add bullet points. Let's say you have 5 things you want to say. Number 1, you write it. And number 2, you write as well. So this is very, very handy in terms of testing. You can check any person as well, any team member or anybody on the group, and just chat with the person. So this makes Slack very, very handy. So if there's anything to take out of all of this I've shown you, is that you're going to be needing help. Some of your code won't work well as you expect, right? So Slack is one way to come, just paste your code and somebody would help you solve your problem. That's just about Slack. Let's go back to our slide so that we can see what we have next. Okay, I think that's just about our slide. So like I mentioned, if you have any question, don't hesitate to just type it on the comment section so you don't forget. Now that we have an idea of how Slack works, let's take a look at another tool that we are going to be using. Another tool we are going to be using is called VSCode. Now, VSCode is an editing software. You can consider VSCode as a Microsoft Word that allows you to type code. So while you will use Microsoft Word to format your tests, you need something as well to format your code, something that will make your life easier. So VS Code is one of them. So I would say that you install VS Code on your machine, on your laptop. How do you do that? Just go to your Google Chrome. Let's see. Okay, let me just exit share mode. Let me see. Okay, I need to do it from here. Okay, so I'm just going to say that download VS Code. VS Code. You can even see that the prediction is coming through. And if you click download, it's going to open up. So you can download on your Mac or on your Windows machine. So it all depends on the device that you have. If you have a Windows, click here to download. If you have a Mac device, click here as well to download. So this is not very difficult to install at all. Once you download the file, you will then install the file. So later in the course, we are going to be showing you how to use the tool. But just make sure that you download it. It's not something heavy at all, and you can get it running almost immediately. Now that you understand what VS Code look like I mentioned, VS Code just allows us to format code. If I want to show you an example of what VS Code looks like, let me look for one of my projects. Yeah, so this is what VS Code looks like. So you can see I have like HTML file formatted here, and of course it looks neater and I can even read it. You're going to understand almost, okay. My screen is not being shared. I paused sharing, is that correct? Okay, for some reason, I can't share my VS Code. Let's see. Okay, for some reason, this VS Code is not sharing, that's fine. Let's go back to our slide. But the moment you the moment you download, you'll be able to see the interface. What you just need to memorize or understand about VS Code is it helps you to write clean code professionally. It helps you to also debug. Debugging in programming is a way to, when you say bug, there's bug in your program, it means there's something wrong, making your program to malfunction. So the act of fixing that problem is what we call debugging. So whenever you hear the word bug in programming, it means error. It means something not making your program to run as expected. So that's another thing to bear in mind. So now that we understand what VS Code looks like, let us quickly dive into the next slide. Let me see if I can pull this on slide presentation mode as well, so that it looks bigger. Cool. Now that we have this on presentation mode, let's move to the next slide. Now, browser. Yes. So we are going to be using you're going to need actually one browser. It can be either Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Safari, Opera Mini. But the thing is, we all know that Google Chrome is the mostly used, but that doesn't mean that you must use it. So you can have any of this browser and we are fine. So just know that you need just one of the browser to partake in the class or in the session. Yeah, so, but I recommend you download Google Chrome. You can download any other browser, because one thing again is that as web developer, one of the requirements is you need to make sure that you have an idea of all the browsers. So take, for instance, if I'm designing a website like Jumia website, for instance, an e-commerce website like Jumia.com, one thing that happens is not every visitor will visit the website with Google Chrome. Some will come with Mozilla Firefox, some will come with Safari, some will come with Opera Mini. So it is the job of we designer, web developer, to make sure that they all look the same. So if anybody is coming with Firefox, the person have the same experience with the person using Google Chrome. So sometimes that's why you will see that one developer, we have almost all the browser, because you need to test your application on every browser to make sure that they behave the same, because these things sometimes work differently. What looks beautiful on Google Chrome might end up looking very awkward on Safari. So your ability to look all this browser is going to help. So what I'm saying in essence is, in the future, you're actually going to be having almost all this browser, just for you to have an idea of what your project look like on all of them. Now, moving forward to the next slide, one thing we are going to be looking at as well is what we call VCS. VCS stands for Version Control System. That sounds like a very huge, sounds very vague, actually. Don't let it scare you away. Version control system is an ability to control the versions of your code. What does that mean? Let me break it down. Version control is a way to store your code and the ability to call back that version at any point in time. See, let me tell you the problem that we do have as programmers. Most of the things we do before the program goes live is try and error. Like, you test this, it works. You test it again, it works. Then you write another thing, all of a sudden you just break your code and everything will stop working. So that's what happens almost every time in programming. But imagine how difficult it will be when you spoil everything and you don't have a way of going back to the previous version that worked. It means that you've scattered the entire program and it might be very difficult for you to fix the issue. So this is where version control comes in. Version control allows you to save your code at every point, so that at any point you can call the particular session and just use it. We're going to learn about version control later. I'm just giving you an idea of the tool that we are going to be using. So if there's anything you want to remember about version control, just think about version control as the system that allows you manage every stage of your code. so that you can make references to them at any point. If I want to paint an example to you, remember that when you are writing your final year project, you have version 1, version 2, version 3. You can even save it as maybe draft 1 2020, or however here you want to put it. But what you're doing actually is version control, because you want to be able to track when you start the project, when your lecturer gave you feedback, and at the point you reflected the feedback, and at the point that you had your final project. That's simply version control. So that's what we are still going to learn, how we can do that as programmers. So if you listen on the group where some guys, the two guys that had coded before and they mentioned Git, I hosted it on Git on blah, 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 is simply version control. So you can host your code and employers from anywhere in the world will be able to see what you've written without them even talking to you. So that's one cool thing about version control. So let's move to the next one. So how can you be successful? You see, this question is very huge, actually. This question, like, how can you be successful in this program? Because the thing is, once you have the knowledge, right? Once you have the knowledge, it's all yours. Nobody can take it away. Once you have this knowledge, nobody, when I mean nobody, actually nobody can take it away. But how can you be successful? The first thing you need to know is you need to share your work. See, if you want to be successful, you need to let people around you know what you're capable of doing. In fact, take it as this. You know, something that we do oftentimes on WhatsApp is that we share pictures of either when we wear new clothes or when we buy something new or when we go for a party. You're about to stop doing all of that. How about you start sharing things that you do, substantial things that you do? One, you don't even know the people on your contacts. You don't know the kind of problem that they have. You don't even know if an employer, somebody who is going to employ you, is on your contact list. So what that means is when you share things that you do, you're painting in people's mind that whenever they have problem, you're the go-to. All right. So one way to be successful is to share those little things you do. In fact, I'm going to be sharing a video with you guys, the video of Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, Jack Dorsey, and all the tech giant experts that you know today. They started very small. In fact, as for Bill Gates, he started with just writing a code, tic-tac-toe. Then I think Jack Dorsey, or either Mark Zuckerberg or Jack Dorsey, the first thing that they wrote was to change the color of a box to red. So you can imagine how they started, and they were sharing it. They were proud of it. So, you know, your friend might be able to build a full-blown app. Don't feel intimidated. Share that very little thing that you have and let the ball begin. So have the mindset of sharing your little success, because those are things that people who have the ability to help you need to see in order to help you succeed. But if you know how to change the color of a box with some lines of code and you only keep it to yourself, sorry, that thing is going to be in you and nobody will see it. In other words, learn to showcase yourself. So those are some of the things we're going to be looking at in this course. You're just going to show yourself and the world is going to see what you're made of. Don't be shy to seek help is the next one. You see, when it comes to programming, right, don't feel shy. This is not school projects. We're talking about coding right here. So if you have any issue at all, see, if nobody is asking, ask. The funny thing is that several people won't talk, but if you don't talk, you remain stuck forever. And when you remain stuck, that is almost possible that you will never know how to solve the problem. In this world of digital information, it's all about asking questions. Ask question. No question is foolish. No question is redundant. No question is abnormal. Learn to ask question. If anything is not clear to you, ask someone. In fact, Don't feel intimidated that your fellow students have an answer. Because you know what? Whatever little thing you think you know, there's somebody who don't know it. So there's the same way you would get to teach somebody tomorrow, you need somebody to teach you. So feel free, ask questions. The reason why we are going to be adding you to Slack channel, the reason why you're on the WhatsApp group, please, I am begging you actually, ask question. Because I did ask questions when I was also learning. And trust me, there's no way I would have known how to program without asking question. So just see it as a way for you to ask question at any point. You might not get immediate answers, but people always have a way of showing you direction. Okay, so another thing to look at is you need to learn how to complete your projects. See, if you want to grow in this industry, learn how to complete your project. Like, no going back. If you want to be successful, learn how to complete your project. I wish I can repeat this like 100 times, right? Completion is very key. See, if you don't complete your project, you're likely not to move to the next one. And people love to see what is complete. The reason why you watch some of the shows is because they are showing you the finished project, the complete project. Imagine they don't finish it. The reason why you can go online and buy things on Amazon is because they do it and they finished it. If they don't, you won't. No, nobody is ready to patronize unfinished projects. So in other words, please learn to finish your projects. Okay, so moving to the next one is our learning management system, which is referred as LMS. So let's take a look at how this works. In fact, let's take a little break. And at this point, let me even see if you have any question before I move forward. Because this LMS segment, I am going to be showing you some things as well. So I would like to take just like 2 questions. If you have any question, just raise your hands so I can see before I move forward. But if there's no question, I'm just going to write on. I'll just assume that everything said is clear to you. Now, LMS is going to actually help you learn. Let me just remove this. So one thing you're going to come across is that you'll be required to learn by yourself. You'll be required to go through some resources. And let's take a look at how that works. So let's take, for instance, our projects or our LMS landing page is called skills.instincthub.com. Now, if you visit skills.instincthub.com, you're just going to see all the available courses right now. So almost every week we release new courses. So you're likely to come here and see more than this in the next week. So what you can see right now are all the available courses. So if you want courses on career guide, so this is a course on career guide, creative design, there's nothing on that. I think there should be on graphic design. So I saw some question about some people asking graphic design. So you can explore this as well, but it's out of the scope of this lesson. Yeah, so for those who love Python, you can see there's a course on Python. Right, but let's go back to all. This is just to show you basically how all these things work. But you're going to get an email of the specific course that you are supposed to take. But I just show you this so that you can come at any point and see what is available. Now, this is skills.instincthub.com. Yeah, so, but let's take, for instance, let's say I want to enroll in introduction to HTML basics. I just click it. I'm going to read about the course, how many modules do we have? Then we are going to see how many projects and the likes. You can read about it. But the important thing is you need to enroll in order for you to participate in the course. So imagine I click on enroll, immediately it takes me to the course home page. Now, one thing you can do here is that you can watch each of the sections. So for every course like that, you have several modules. So you can see this only contains 8 modules. So you will be required to finish all the modules. Then at the end, you'll see the final projects. Now you can read about the projects and also just go read more about the project instruction. Now, this project is going to test you based on what you've learned in that course. In fact, it's more like as if I am jumping. Let me see what the next slide is. Yeah, so the next slide is how you'll be graded. Okay, so let's take everything together. Now that you have, yeah, so this is the project instruction. So you can read, I mean, these are for you to read. Plagiarism for us is very key because we know it is possible for you to just go paste, copy and paste somebody's source code. If you do that, we will know. And once you know, you are disqualified. So make sure that everything you're doing is organic, like it's basically from you. Just if there's anything you need to do, please pay attention to the instructions. Read the instructions closely and you understand how these work. So when you're done, you're going to click here to submit. Once you click here to submit, you're just going to put your email, your name. Make sure that your email tally with the email we have in our database. If not, we won't be able to align your solution. So once you're done, just put in your the title. Then we are going to teach you how to upload your content or your code in GitHub. So you're going to paste in the GitHub link here. Our reviewers will go through what you've done and you'll be graded. Now let's look at how you'll be graded. Is just below the instruction, you can see. So for every project that is given to you, you'll see the total score. So every question, so the way it's done is the question, let's assume the question start from here. You can see, so every question will be graded and you can see how you'll be graded. Take for instance, for you to meet expectation with number 1, you need to declare the title tag with other appropriate with the appropriate name. So you can see that's 5 mark. And just like that, you can see the second one as well. So you can go below expectation if you do not declare the appropriate tag, H1 tag. You can see improper HTML tag declaration. This as well, you're required to declare a P tag. You understand all of these things as we move forward. Just try to consume the information I'm giving to you because you're going to be needing it later. As for this, you will exceed expectation on this very segment if you add an image. You're going to learn about this as well. So the reason why all these tests are coming is because these are things you would actually learn from the course itself. So you come in here, by the time you finish the course, actually, you understand how to implement all of this because they are actually in all the modules here. So you can see several tags which the instructor had put together. So that's one thing about how you'll be graded and how the LMS work. At any point, if anything isn't working for you, please click report issue. You'll be able to still chat directly on WhatsApp. So you can just chat live and so that the issue can be resolved for you, anything at all, right? Don't forget, you can see all your modules here. Now, at any point, you can see all your courses, my courses. See the difference? Courses here is going to take you to all the courses available. My courses is going to take you to all the courses you've been enrolled in. Now, I've enrolled in all the courses. That's the reason why you can see all of that. But meanwhile, let's come back to courses. Let me sign out. I realize that I am signed in, the reason why everything looks so smooth. So for the very first time when you come and you click on any of the course and you enroll. Register to enroll is what you will see, not even enroll. You saw enroll the other time because I was logged in. So if I say register to enroll, so you're going to put on all this information in order for you to enroll. And if you have an account, you can just come and log in. So this is my own username and password. So you can just copy or save your username and password somewhere, so that, so take for instance, at the point of registration, make sure you copy your username and password and just save it somewhere, so that you can always make references to it. And at any point, if you can't access it or any issue, just chat with us and we'll get you back in almost immediately. So that's just about that. Once you enroll, let's say I have an account, I'm not going to sign in, I'm just going to log in. And once I log in, it takes me to this segment where I have my courses. So these are all my courses, and this makes a lot of sense. So all the courses that you enroll in will be here. But if you want to browse, maybe you want to learn on your own, you want to explore other content that we have, you can always enroll on as many as possible. The platform is made free, so you can use it at your wish. So that's about it in terms of what I have for you today. So I believe at this point, you have an idea as to the tools needed and what you need to do. So talking about the interview, yeah, so we wish to showcase students, we wish to showcase you. So every month, we're actually going to be sharing some of your story. Now, the selection process is not linear, like it's not like we had any preference of anybody. So we are going to pick you based on your interactiveness. So based on what we see you do, based on your contribution, that's what is going to determine how we are going to showcase your story, because we're going to have your video, interview you, and share you on our platform and stuff like that. That's just about what the interview is. It's going to be an interesting one, really, because we will get to just share your story and how the learning process is going so far with you. Yeah, so some of you remember the questions that you pasted or you asked while you were filling the assessment form. So I just pulled some of them so that we can take some of them one after the other. I'm not sure if we can go through all the list, even though this is just a few snippet from all the comments that came in. So first one says, what programming is all about and tech diversity? I really do not understand. I can see that this is a genuine question. Well, I explained this from the beginning. Tech diversity is an avenue, a platform where we get to teach you guys technology skills. Right now, we are starting with web development. And when you ask what is programming about, so the fact that you could use your laptop, somebody programmed those applications to work there. Applications like Microsoft Word that runs on your machine, and every other app, Google Chrome, everything, including the Zoom platform we are using to make this call right now. Somebody actually coded. So programming is an act of creating or building a solution by giving instruction to the computer or to the machine. So you can just think it in that sense. Now, the next one is it compulsory we must learn programming or what we like? In this very program for this year, we only offer web development. It is not a must that you learn programming, but it is crucial that you learn programming. If you notice what I just said, it's not a must, but it's important that you do, because almost everything we do is tied to technology. So understanding how these things work would help you do things that were not possible for you in the past. The third question is, what is the system laptop capacity? Even though I had to rephrase this question. So this person wants to know, what system capacity do you need? See, literally, any system works. So like, one thing in coding is it doesn't require much system space. Any system at all. Just make sure that the system comes on, you can browse, and you can type, the keypad is working. Once all of those things are true, then it's possible for you to participate. So you don't really need something so huge for you to learn how to use these two. And that's all about that for that question. So is it possible to get materials, notes alongside? Of course, we are going to be sharing, you're going to be getting lots of emails. So please read your emails. I still repeat that, read your emails. Will this certificate be eligible anywhere other than Tech Savvy or Sterling Bank? Well, you see, what we are about to help you do or help you create is beyond certificates. It's something you can show to anybody. Something is an achievement that you can leverage on to get any type of job once you can meet expectation. So you can show it anywhere, not just to Instinct Hub or to Sterling Bank. You can show it to anyone, anywhere, anybody, and it's going to be valid because it's what they can see. Now, is it mandatory to watch all YouTube video posted? Of course not. It is not. We're going to be sharing some tips with you. If you wish to watch, fine. If you don't, that's okay. But what's mandatory is that you watch the tutorial video, like the course outline that will be shared, that is part of the curriculum of this program. And you need to do the project in order to remain in this in the tech diversity. Otherwise, we will not have any other choice to drop you as we progress. Now, the meet and chats with instructor, is it one-on-one or how does it work? Okay, so it's hybrid. No, it's not hybrid. Hybrid has to do with physical, yeah. It's not hybrid per se, even though we plan to come to schools, but not for so long, but the learning process is going to be mainly Zoom classes, like we are having one right now, and you're also going to be learning by yourself through our LMS, which means videos will be available for you to watch. So it's going to be, you learn with resources, you also still get to meet instructor, just like you're chatting with me right now. Now, are we going to have a live session or work with the same, or work at the same time? Sorry, are we going to have the live session and work at the same time? So I think this question is, am I going to be coding alongside with the instructor? Yes and no. As we are talking right now, you're not coding anything, you know, so sometimes it's not every time you're with the instructor that you'll be required to code. However, there will be instances where the instructor will be coding and you code alongside. But one thing you can be sure of is that you always get the pre-recorded version of every session. Another thing to note is that the LMS is there for you to take on the content. You can rewatch the video as many times as possible. So that's one thing to take note of. Okay, can I acquire all this skill during the 5 months? I know that we've done 1 month already, which is June, we're in July. The thing is, 6 months in real sense is not enough to learn technology skill, most especially web development. But 6 months is enough to show you all you need to know. Now it's not left for you how you want to further your skill. So we can show you within the 6 months, we're going to be showing you all the things you need to know within this process. So that's all about that when it comes to if it's possible for you to learn everything between the space of 5 months. I don't want to think that this question is asking if you can learn graphic design, web development, videography. No, you can only learn one, like one at a time. You can only learn one at a time. The next question is, what are we going to have? Okay, when are we going to have practical class? Well, practical classes is coming your way like after. In fact, this is the only, will I say, just vocal class without you doing something. The next classes are going to be you having to do one thing or the other. Will there be any physical meetup in our various university? Yes, they have to be meetup in various university. In fact, if we can't even be there physically, we can organize you guys to meet together, people who are enrolled in this session, and do something. So when it comes to physical meetup, we're going to arrange that. But again, we need to make sure that we all are safe and not inconveniencing anybody. That's all about that when it comes to all the questions. So at this point, I've exhausted all the questions on the list. So I would want anybody with questions to ask so that we can just call it a day. And okay, I think one thing I need to show you guys right now is, I know I shared something. I don't know if all of you pay attention to it. So you're going to be getting this breakdown almost every month. So this is like a breakdown of what is going to happen every week. So you can see what we've done this week so far is pre-assessments, and we just spoke about the tools and applications you need. So what we are going to be doing next month is you're going to be learning about the secret that no one will tell you about digital skill. You actually, I'm going to be sending that this week, right? Because we don't have time. So we're going to try as much as we can to meet up. But the thing is, we've simplified this process in a way that you're able to see what is upfront, what to expect. And I think this should help everyone to succeed. Okay, so guys, nice chatting with all of you. Any question for me at all, I am pretty much ready to answer you. So before we all go, I would like to take a picture. So I want you guys to enable your camera if you can, just for us to take a quick picture just before we go.